For our new series on whiteboard episodes, we are going to start talking about in-season training, specifically about why it's important. We'll spend some time getting into the weeds of the science behind what happens when you take time off, long periods of time off from training, and just the importance of if you don't train in season, you miss a large chunk of training throughout the year. So today we're going to start with some of the reasons, the two main reasons why we hear athletes don't train in season. Number one of them being time. We understand that practices take up a lot of time, depending on the coach, 3 hours potentially a day. Sometimes on Saturdays here, we have a lot of guys that practice on Saturday mornings, either early in the season or throughout the season, and that is a large time commitment. If you want to be good at something though, then majority of your day should be put into that. So if you're getting out of school, you're gonna have practice and you need to spend other time outside of that to make advancements. If you're spending the same amount of time as your peers on something, you are not going to actually advance past them. You're going to improve equally to them. The other thing is with just understanding time commitment and sacrifices, there's a give and a take. If you want to be, like I said, if you want to be good at something, you need to put more time into it. That may mean sacrificing social time with friends, sacrificing watching games on the weekend to get homework done in advance, not procrastinating, doing these things. Also, if you want to play college sports, you're going to have more free time during that time period and less people holding you accountable. So if you're a high school athlete specifically and you want to play in college somewhere, then now is the best time to start because you have your mom and your dad, you have some help usually with some laundry, food, someone that's kind of looking over you, and you don't have 19 guys on your team asking you to play Halo or Call of Duty 24/7. So in high school, we encourage people to start with the time management skills now. Learn how to do it. It's going to be different from when you're a freshman to when you're a senior. It's going to be different when, depending on if it's the fall season, the spring season, what you have going on there. But you have to make those sacrifices and you have to make a commitment to say, this is important to me, and so I'm going to get it done. The other big reason is people don't want to be sore in season, be sore for the game. The main thing with these, we have three main points here of why this shouldn't be a factor. Number one, or point A, would be concentric exercises or just overall programming selection, but specifically making the exercise more concentric. So what that means is that's when your muscle just contracts. So if I'm doing a bicep curl and I bring my hand towards my shoulder, that's a concentric motion. If I take it away, that's the eccentric motion. The eccentric motion is what causes more soreness. So if we do and program this properly, then we will work more on the concentric version or the portion of the exercise with the lift, and that way we are avoiding the motion that makes you the most sore. Point B would be little change in exercise selection. So let's say exercises stay the same. Your body can, once it's adjusted, and there's not a big change in what we're doing, you're a lot less likely to be sore. We've all had those times where you add in a new exercise or you go away from doing like a reverse lunge for a while and then you go back to it, and the next day you can barely walk. Well, if we stay more consistent with what we're doing there, then you're not going to have that soreness from just your body not adjusting to what's going on with the specific exercises being used. The last thing would be, and this is something I don't think many people think of, is what's going to be more advantageous for you during the season? Being sore from working out or losing power. So the amount of power lost, and we're going to do a deep dive on a different video with just talking about this, but the losing power is worse for you than being sore. So the amount of power you lose after just 1 week of working out, especially for a younger guy, is pretty significant. Like I said, we'll go into some details there. But when you think about being sore, okay, like it might be a little bit harder to get loose, but usually once you get loose, you feel fine. Your legs might be a little tight at the beginning of practice, you work it out, it should be fine. If you're losing power constantly throughout the season and your power output's on a constant decline, then by the time you get to like May for college or high school baseball, then you're going to be a shell of what you were before. And so it doesn't matter if you feel great, your production is not going to be nearly as good. So it doesn't make sense to me to sacrifice maybe a little soreness in the season and be okay with losing power throughout the entire season. So that's just kind of a kickoff for where we want to go with this. Like I said, we'll get more specific into some of these points, but bottom line, If you want to be an athlete and you want to be good in any type of level, you have to make sacrifices. You have to be able to manage your time. And if you don't work out for the entire season, you're going to lose a lot of training time.